This video on cultivating wellness and personal energy is sponsored by Skylar at Reidel Law Firm. So thank you very much to his kind patronage for this video. So this is geared up for people in the legal profession, but it will actually work for anyone that wants to sort of achieve anything in life. Apart from knowing your craft well and being able to deliver in the various little challenges of your craft, anyone doing that needs good inner energy. That is to say, mental energy, focus, clarity, libido, self-esteem, energy, spiritual energy, psychological energy, things of this nature. And in this video, I'm going to give you an outline of probably like 10 or 15 very powerful tools that you can use to begin your journey to cultivate this. If you just, for the rest of your life, stuck to these tools that I'm about to give you, you would beat the average of the population and your industry by a long way. And my hope is that you'll see this as a starting point, and then as time goes on, like you'll play with them a little bit and you'll find more tools and develop your practice a little more that way. One more note before we get started. So as leaders or otherwise high performance people, so I put like high paid lawyers into this category, you're paid to do a few things every day really, really well. And to be able to do that, you're going to need good energy. So if you're a leader, for example, and you're trying to make a good decision about where to take your company, if you have good energy and you feel upbeat and positive and full of self-esteem and a feeling that like you deserve the best things in life, then you're going to find a way to see a good future and then to charismatically bring that into fruition. And I think leadership is about that. It's about vision, and then it's about having the charisma or the reality distortion field to be able to align people to that vision. Equally, if you're you're not a leader as such, but you're more of like a high performance practitioner, if you're going to do an amazing bit of legal work, or you've got like a particularly challenging document or bit of research, like if you have the good energy, your psyche and your body and your mind will find a way to make it work, and you'll end up with a bit of brilliance. The opposite is true. If your energy is crap, then you'll find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Like you'll find a way to make it go wrong. So this video is designed to make you well, make you perform at a high level, and bring luck and charisma and energy to your craft. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at here is bodily care. So we'll start with cleansing. So most of you are aware that pretty much all of our bodies are riddled with various forms of toxins. Things like heavy metals, parasites, out of balance microbiome, all this sort of stuff. And one of the main things anyone that is interested in being healthy must do is cultivate a strong cleansing protocol. In the description I'll put my full cleansing protocol, so for those of you that want to go hardcore, there's however many hundreds of hours of practice and study I've put in is just condensed there. Just copy it and your body will actually be transformed if you want to do this. But what I'm going to do for the purposes of this video is just list a few different cleanses that you can do to get started, all of which will actually have a very profound way on your bodily health, but also correspondingly on your mind and emotional body. So the master cleanse is fasting. What does it do? It does hundreds of things. It cures fatty liver disease. It helps with cancer. It gets a healthy appetite and body fat. It cures, if you fast for a long time, it can even like recycle scar tissue. It processes psychological trauma. There's hundreds of freaking things that fasting does. Like it really, if you're looking at fasting, the question really is like, what doesn't it do? So I fast a minimum of 4 times a year. Do it once every quarter. I aim for one for 4 days or so. But I've also got a protocol where I do 36 hours, like once a week, and I've done that for the last 5 weeks, and that's also very interesting. If you're new to fasting, as many of you watching this video would be, I recommend go for a 24-hour fast. Just water, so there's no coffee, no medication, no nothing like that. Just your water. See how you get on. Do that a couple of times. Then when you're ready, like go for a 36-hour fast and then branch out. And then maybe you'll feel brave and go for 3-4 days or more. If you have like an issue with being overweight or obese, fasting will fix this. Not only will it take about 1 pound of fat away every day, plus the additional water weight that you're carrying, but it will also normalize your gut microbiome, normalize your sort of food craving and that kind of thing. One example of the effects of that is, after the fast, you'll have if you do a long one, you'll have a different palate than the one you had before. Maybe you'd be interested in things like sugar and just bullshit fast food before, but afterwards you'll actually find lots of vegetables and fats and organic meats and things like that very, very tasty and appealing. So if you've got an obesity issue, that will nail it. One fun fact about obesity before we move on, if you lose weight without fasting, what tends to happen is you get a lot of extra like skin. And the cool thing about fasting is if you just shred through that fat with the fasting, the skin actually gets consumed by the body, with it. So you don't actually have all that loose skin, which is pretty freaking cool. So it's a master cleanse. Hundreds of ailments it has been shown in through the scientific method to fix. Tons of emotional things it fixes, but it also recycles the decaying or dead or injured parts of your body, both on a cellular level and in between all the cells. It really is the master cleanse. Okay, really quickly, a few other cleanses. Again, there's a list in the description for all these ones if you want to go deeper. You can do a liver cleanse. The instructions for doing that is in the description, but many of us have these gallstones in our gallbladder and liver, and tremendous emotional and physiological effects can take place when you take this. It's about, it depends how you count it, but it's about 24-hour cleansing process, which causes a massive bile dump to flush all these gallstones through. And I find what happens is my mood changes massively. So in particular with anger. So if you have any issues with anger or repressed anger, maybe you've got lower back pain or that sort of thing, a liver flush will almost certainly help with that. Certainly does with me. Makes the skin look really nice and generally improves the mood and holistic health at the same time. You can do a kidney cleanse. That's really easy. It's just about sipping kidney cleanse and herbs. Like the links for that are in the description. You do it for like 21 days. And again, I've had a lot of clients with that who had lower back pain, and then that lower back pain disappeared with the kidney cleanse. So highly recommend that one. One of my other favourite cleanses is coffee enemas. So bear with me here. It does involve brewing coffee and then using like an enema bulb or an enema kit to stick it up your ass and then hold it for about 15 minutes if you're able to. And it's not just for sexual pleasure. Like what this does is there's a vein from your rectum that goes to your liver. I think it's called the portal vein, and it sends the coffee there. And what it does is it stimulates the liver to produce glutathione, which is like a master cleansing, longevity, regenerative protein. It's a tripeptide. It's 3 amino acids that make it up. So again, like it's really good for holistic health. I find my skin looks very good with that. My mood is improved. And if you're holistically healthy, your resistance to disease goes up generally, and you live longer, you look better, your mood's better. And what's pertinent to the subject matter of this video is that your ability to perform at work will be aided, rather than your energy dragging you down and your emotions holding you back, and that will be turned on its head. And actually your energy and your emotions and your belief that you deserve the best things in life will propel you forward. So there's also, I won't go into these in great detail, but there's also oil pulling. That's a very nice one, particularly if you find a sore throat, something like that's coming on. Really nice little mini cleanse you can do. You can do a parasite cleanse where you take anti-parasite herbs. Basically all of us have some form of parasites in us, and one of the ongoing crafts that we all need to have in our life is to practice regularly cleansing these parasites out. And the herb mixture I've given in the description is a great way to do that. So I think that is okay. We'll do one more. So if you're a more spiritual person, And many of you won't be. Many of you will be materialists or near materialists, and that's fine. But if you are spiritually minded, Kambo, Kambo, is a wonderful sacred medicine from the Amazon, which can do profound spiritual cleansing things should your temperament align to the spiritual paradigm. Okay, moving on a little bit from the cleansing, we're going to look at the other things we can do for biological care. So, sort your diet out. Or if your diet is sorted out, ask yourself how you can iterate upwards. So I'm gonna pitch this little short 2 minutes at people that don't have their diet sorted out. So I'm not going to go into the reasons why to do it. You know why to do it. It's going to make the whole of your being, your psychology, energy, your body, your resistance to disease, longevity. It's going to make the whole thing better. So the question is, well, what does a healthy diet look like? And there's lots of people that will argue about this for, and they should. It's an interesting debate. But the best diet I have found that would be a great thing for almost everyone watching this is the cyclic ketogenic diet. So I'll show you some pictures on the screen now of what this looks like. But essentially, you make your plates mostly vegetables, tons of oils like olive oil, coconut oil if you like the taste of it, grass-fed butter, things like that, and then quality meat or fish on the top. And then the cyclic bit means that on the weekends, or maybe on one day on the week, you can carb up a little bit and have, things like pizza and bread and that kind of thing. So I'll put some stuff in the description about the cyclic ketogenic diet. I think it's the best diet. Dr. Eric Berg actually comes to mind at the moment. So if you want to dive more into that, he's a very esteemed nutritionist, and he'll guide you on cyclic ketogenic diet a little bit more. With keto alone, probably cyclic keto, but with keto alone, you can normalize your body fat. So I maintain an effortless, and I truly mean effortless, 13-14% body fat with cyclic keto. So that means so you can visualize that the abs more or less show through, kind of. That's about 13-14%, and there is zero effort at all that goes into that. If you want to increase your energy as you're doing ketogenic diet, I really recommend a bulletproof coffee, which is MCT oil, grass-fed butter, and Americano coffee blended together. I use a NutriBullet. That's a really nice brew for getting you off of the carbohydrate energy source and into ketosis. So and it really does give you a ton of energy. So I recommend that for anyone, but particularly people that are going keto. Okay, other biocare stuff. Train daily. Now, what I've realized is most of us aren't professional athletes. Some of you will be. Some of you will want to run ultra marathons and crazy stuff like that, or do MMA on the weekends, and that's fine. Maybe you should train more like an athlete. But for many of us, and myself included, I have trained very hard in parts of my life. But what I've realized is I want the majority of my libido to be channeled into other things which aren't, bodily excellence. So I apply the 80-20 rule with my training, meaning that what I'm looking for is the best 10 or 20% of effort, which will get me 80% of the way. And since I'm not a professional athlete or someone like that, I'm not going to do the extra 80% of effort to get that 100% excellence. So an 80-20 training schedule that I invite you to look at looks something like this. You train every day, but you don't have to go hardcore. That could include say 3 strength workouts that last half an hour or an hour. Lots of you have a lot of money, so I recommend getting a PT and asking him to give you decent strength workouts that where you go through the week in 2 or 3 different training sessions, and you exercise all the different body parts. Then you want to go a couple of cardio things. So that might be half an hour of swimming, 20 minutes of running. Because it's 80-20 training, it doesn't need to be 4 hours of swimming or running or 100 lengths or whatever. I find that my cardio is pretty freaking good, and my psychology and mood is great on a 15 or 20 minute run. And then you want to do a couple of yoga or mobility sessions in a week. I do 20 minutes of gymnastic stretching just to give the mobility a go, and I also do a little bit with my PT as well in the strength sessions, and that works just fine. So I invite you to train every day with a mixture of strength, cardio, and mobility split along those days. And here's the key thing: unless you want to be a hardcore physical person where you choose to channel your libido into physicality, which may be for some of you at the expense of channeling the libido into many of the other domains in life, unless you're going to do that, just settle for doing it good enough with the 80-20 principle, which is something like what I expressed there. Okay, the last section we're going to include in this short video on wellness and energy is on taking care of the mind. And to be specific with my terms, when I say the mind, I don't just mean the ego or the intellect. I mean, what occultists would call the inner, which is all the various different parts of mind, like your emotions, like your intellect, like your ego, like your unconscious and your various complexes and other parts of the psyche. So the psyche is what I mean. Now, people spend a long time working out how to fix this, but I'm just going to give you a few little waypoints for self-care and getting good energy at the level of the mind, of the psyche, of the inner itself. So the first one is pretty cliche, but it's cliche because it works. It's meditation. So I invite you to get a daily meditation practice going. I get basically all of my clients doing this, and virtually all of them get really good results from it. If you're new to it, start with 5 or 10 minutes a day. There's lots of fancy meditation apps and weird protocols out there. Some will be good, many are awful. What I recommend you do is mindfulness or Vipassana meditation. I think those two are the same. Find a Buddhist talking on a video or something like that to explain it, but essentially it just involves sitting down, breathing in, breathing out, and taking your attention to the center every time it flitters away. Check out some. I'll include some stuff in the description for this, and you may want to get like a one-off like training with a monk or someone just to show you how to do this. But it's pretty simple. It's like chess. Like it doesn't take long to learn the rules, but it takes a lifetime to master. And then start doing that for say 5-10 minutes a day. My personal practice is 30 minutes a day. But again, like I'm a life coach, so I want to put more of my libido into these things than maybe some of you people will. Or maybe you feel a calling to that sort of thing, and you might choose to do an hour a day, and if that is where your energy is naturally flowing, then I invite you to follow that. The reason, there's many reasons why you meditate, but it's essentially about mental control. Your mind is governing how the whole of this experience you're in is working, and for most people there's no control of it at all, and you're almost entirely unconsciously reacting to the hundreds of influences in the world of the outer and the world of the inner coming at you every minute. And when you learn to meditate, what you learn to do is center yourself and be in more of a controlled and equanimous kind of being, and what that will bring is happiness. It will bring better energy because your energy isn't being drained by 500 different stimuli coming at you all the time. And if you choose to carry on with it, you'll get some spiritual progress, or a lot of spiritual progress if you do it a lot from it also. The second of 3 things I'm going to give you is NoFap. So one of the ways that our libido literally gets drained from us, particularly for us guys, although I do think this is also true to a lesser extent for women, is excessive masturbation. So there's nothing wrong with masturbation. You can do it if you want. It's interesting, it's fun, it's a cool thing to explore. But one of the consequences of it is, for nearly all of us, it's a drain of libido. So for as much as you do it, this driving force in you kind of gets siphoned away, and there's just less energy for you to put into your work or your relationship or anything at all. So one of the things you can do for your personal development on the psychological, emotional, spiritual side of things, if you want to, is NoFap. If you're new to it and you're fully addicted to porn and masturbation, try to go for like 48 hours without that. If you're feeling once you've got that, maybe try for a week. There's a range of the benefits that people see, but in general what happens is your mood improves, your charisma improves, you've got more energy to put into things, there's more of a magnetism to you, and better things tend to come your way. Also, I've noticed that when people get serious about NoFap, their face changes, and for us guys our face becomes more masculine, which is understandable because we are more masculine, and there's more of this vital masculine energy in us, which corresponds authentically to how our faces look. So the third and final kind of inner emotional psychological sort of action point I'm going to give you here is moving from pride into love. Love is, aside from feeling good and being very good for things like relationships and health and, you know, drawing good things to you, it's a extremely powerful energy source. So if you're, we'll do a little thought experiment. If you're going around your day and you're full of love, like you just love everyone, you love yourself, and you're just brimming with self-esteem, then you might imagine that someone like that would be very motivated to sort of tackle the particular challenges of the day. Interestingly, you actually wouldn't be very motivated to do the irrelevant challenges you've got, but you'd be so motivated to do the challenges that are aligned with your self-actualization if you're in love. So that's an interesting thing that you might choose to mull over. So this probably is a lifetime's work, or multiple lifetimes' work for most of us, but I'll give you the footnotes. So most of you listening to this will experience very little love on the whole, and you'll feel prideful instead. So many of us down here at the moment feel an intense level of shame. Shame is an emotion where you as such are just no good. There's a sort of an essential wrongness with you as you are, and you're not okay. And the way many of us respond to that is with pride. What we attempt to do is become profound, we become more moral, more wealthy, more athletic, more spiritual, more anything that's superior, in a compensatory way to compensate for the inner inferiority of shame. Shame basically means inferiority. And as you go along with that persona of superiority, because remember your inner world still feels authentically with shame, you project your feeling of shame onto whoever is unlucky enough to be your target. And if you're successful at that, because you've got a big car and a big bank account and you've done loads of spiritual things and you're very spiritual, whatever it is, right? If you're successful at that, like, you know, someone will feel inferior or you know, worthless compared to you, and you'll feel superior, and that little bit of pride will energize you, and you'll get through the next 5 minutes of your day without this descending death spiral of shame that you're constantly trying to escape every moment to moment. So pride doesn't really work. It sort of works, but it actually doesn't. It causes a wake of destruction both in your own inner world and to the people that you interact with. And it looks like it fixes pride, but it doesn't. Sorry, it looks like it fixes shame, but it doesn't. But there is a solution to all this. And the solution is love. Love is the solution to shame. And it is a far superior spiritual energy force than pride. So pride will get you so far. And if you're maybe the head of your law firm and everyone's saying, oh, you're a great person, and aren't you special, and aren't you more smart and profound and wealthier than we are, that will push you forward to some extent. But it will do nothing compared to the amount of energy you'll have if you feel love for yourself and love for others, and that pushes you through your day in a manner that's self-actualizing and in accordance with a worthy ideal. Because once you start to get into love, you self-actualization and finding your passion like necessarily automatically follow from that. If you want to know why, I mean, I can explain that. It just take me a longer time. Just message me and I'm happy to explain that. So move from pride into love. Pride is a trap. Hopefully by explaining it like that, I've dispelled the illusion if you're suffering from pride, as many of us are. Okay, so that's the end of the video. That if you do most of the things I've put in this video, that'll be, you know, you'd be beating most people in terms of wellness and inner health and that kind of thing. And I want you to. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to be master craftsmen and women at your various professions. So if you'd like to know more, what you can do is, well, first of all, you can read the stuff in the description, so that will help you out and that will give you further reading and further stuff to dig into. But if you want one-to-one help with all this stuff and other things, you can reach out to me. There's a link to my website in the description, and we can do a discovery call. And if there's space for one-to-one coaching, and there's a good energy between us, I'd look forward to coaching you. Okay, so final message for the video is good luck with your personal development, and the best in me wishes the best in you to grow. Cheers.